Hi. Hope you are doing awesome today. And hey, you pressed play. So here we are. We get to hang out for the next little bit, which, well, I think it's pretty cool. And hopefully you do too. So we'll be keeping it pretty therapeutic today. If available, do set up facing the wall because we will go upside down a little bit. But again, it's more of a slow flow kind of vibe. So you'll want to have your bolster, your blocks, and your blanket. And we will start in a supine position. So come all the way down onto your back. Knees are bent, soles of feet on the mat. Just hanging out here. Feel your shoulder blades get flat beneath you. Notice the back of your hips, the balance that's there. Maybe even move your skull away from your shoulders, and you can feel that nice bit of traction through the spine. I love that feeling. And start to pay attention to your lower back. Draw it a bit closer toward the ground. And then we focus into our breathing. So without trying to control your breath at all, just observe how you are breathing. So are you breathing in and out of your nose or your mouth? Does your breath feel like it moves up in the chest, or does your breath move down low in the body? Do you feel, restricted or tight when you inhale or exhale? Do you feel like you can fully let go? And do you feel that you can breathe in fully? And it's okay if your breathing is not awesome right now. That's why we're here, or at least part of it, is to start to tune into this level of awareness. So often we get caught up in the mind and we forget about the inherent intelligence that moves through us in the body. But the thing is, we don't get to enjoy or be conscious of the intelligence until we actually slow down and listen, until we slow down and actually pay attention. And this is a difficult thing for people to do often if they are suffering from anxiety, even depression. It can feel really difficult to be just in the present moment and be with yourself. And that's why yoga is so incredible and so scientifically effective at reducing the symptoms of anxiety and depression, if not almost completely alleviating them, as much as you can for the human experience, because that's the reality as well. Emotions are moving. It's energy in motion. So when we can come into a space of stillness, we can witness what is in motion. Just like when we bring ourselves into conscious action through something like yoga, we get to recognize our ability to be still and focused on the inside. And when we can get to that space of reflection, well, we can really start to witness ourselves from the inside. Can you witness all of the spaces of your lungs that are being filled with your breath here and now? Every teeny tiny direction that your lungs expand, can you become aware of it? Does it change anything? And when you exhale, Can you feel all the tiny bits getting squeezed so you can release the breath from the lungs? And notice that it is not something you try to do. This is a witnessing of the intelligence of the body that already exists within you. You do not need to think or will your way to better breath. You simply need to listen to the body and allow yourself to be witness in a conscious moment. Pay attention. Notice if you can expand your awareness into the back side of your body. And again, you're not trying to like flex your muscles on your back. This is an internal witnessing of expansion. And you will feel it physically because it physically happens. But to witness it from the inside perspective, right? That is often a tricky thing for people to go into. So witness yourself. This is how you talk to your body. This is how your body talks to you. Now, from here, just pull your right knee into your chest. Without your hands grabbing onto it or anything like that, notice any tendencies or patterns that come up, but witness your breath and witness the muscle groups. Keep your back flat on the ground and place your right foot back down. Keep your back flat on the ground and bring your right knee back in. And step it down. Bring the knee in and step the foot down. So keep going. We're doing a few more repetitions here. The point is to notice how still you can be through your entire body to allow this movement to happen. Now that said, the appearance of the stillness on the outside, with the exception of the movement of the right leg, of course, but the appearance of the stillness on the outside means there should be a lot going on the inside. Yeah, so just because you're still on the outside doesn't mean you don't use your muscles. You should be using your muscles. Keep your back flat. Yep, you've got it. One more time, bring the right knee in and place it down. Keep that muscular awareness. Your left knee pulls in. Hold it there for a sec. And just breathe. Notice if you were getting into any patterns of holding your breath or feeling rigid in certain areas, whatever that may be. Now place your left foot down. Be mindful of what tries to move around. Bring the left knee back in. And the foot comes down. So keep going. Again, focus as best as you can on keeping the back of the hips and back of the shoulders flat down. Also, your low back toward the ground. That means your abdominals are working here, but you're not actively like flexing them. You're working with your body. You're learning all the spaces that need to be awake and aware in order for this movement to happen and for you to be still, mostly on the outside. Notice your breathing. And next time left foot comes down, just leave it there. Breathe in and breathe out. Now draw both knees in. Keep your back flat. And just hang out here, so make any little adjustments you need to. We're nice and warmed up. Bring the feet down. So that can be really tricky to keep the back down, so really watch yourself here. Bring the knees back in. And the feet come down. So you've used that integrated strength, keep going, the integrated strength around your core, but also it's in keeping your pelvis neutral and your shoulder blades flat so that this action can happen and you can actually feel the work of your abdomen. You can feel the work of your hip flexors. You can feel the work of the obliques. Notice your breath. Keep going. And if you're finding that your back just keeps lifting off the mat and it's frustrating you, you know what? It takes time. So just do your best, forget the rest, as Tony Horton would say, and keep going. Take breaks when you need. Work the spaces. Your abs, think of them pushing down into the floor, and that will help keep your lower back there. Yeah? You don't have to have a six-pack to have strong abs. Let your feet come all the way down to the mat. Extend your fingers away from you. Reach them overhead or to the wall behind you, and let your lower back arch away from the ground. So when that happens, you feel like your sit bones are aiming to reach for the mat. Like you're almost wanting to come up into a seated position, but it's a really long journey. And nice and easy, bring your low back down. Then arch the back again. And bring it down. 3 more like that. Arch the back, think of your tail drawing down. And then draw the back down. So getting used to this movement on the back of the pelvis. Notice what's happening when you arch your back and when you bring it down. Okay, now we'll arch the back and we'll start to bring it down. As we do that, we're lifting through the tail and floating the hips up into a bridge pose. At the peak of our bridge pose, we then come down top to bottom, draw your navel in, and your hips come all the way down. Then we press the tail to the ground to find the arch in the back again. Nice and easy. We start to roll the tail toward the ceiling as the low back comes down, the pelvis lifts up. We return to our bridge pose. Maybe you're a little deeper. And nice and easy, from top to bottom, you start to lay your spine down. Smooth the movement out as best as you can. When the hips are down, arch the back. And start to work in the opposite direction again, lifting up into your bridge. Notice how everything just works in this fluid motion. Now, up to you, you could bring the hands down by your sides as you arch the back next. That will help you now go deeper into it. And maybe you can have your fingers touch toward your heels. They don't have to. But notice that you can get a bit of a deeper arch of the back. Maybe even grab onto your ankles. It's a whole different thing. It's a whole different, like it's a similar sensation, but it just unfolds naturally. So don't compromise the smoothness of your action in order to grab your heels just for the ego's sake, right? Because it's not going to do anything that's any better than what you're doing, right? That's how, just keep going with these waving actions, by the way. But that's, of course, how all of these yoga postures work, right? When we start to bring more binds into our practice, and grabbing onto the ankles in this case would be considered a bind in yoga. I know oftentimes people get into that mindset of thinking like, oh, that's the more advanced thing, so that's what I have to do. It's like yes and no. It's where your body will naturally unfold when you've done the foundational aspects enough times. And it's like, when you think of it like that, it's like a mathematical equation. And that is really like many skills for all of us, right? We've got just 2 more reps here. Really deepen the arching action. But if we want to get better at something, we need to practice it. Maybe you can lift your hips a little higher up. Really work it. We've got just one more. Don't forget about waving the spine down, top to bottom to the floor. But especially in the beginning of learning new skills, that happens with pretty much every beginner, right? Lift those hips, and gently bring yourself all the way down. Let your arms relax out to the sides, open your knees wide, soles of feet toward each other. We're only here for a moment. Now bring your knees back together. Bring your feet as wide as your hips, so just like a little bit wider, and open your knees from there. Close the legs together. Bring your feet as wide as your shoulders and open the knees from there. Notice how things start to get a little different, right? Bring the knees to face the ceiling. Back to hip distance apart. Open the knees. Notice differences between the sides. You could use your hands for a moment if you want to just maybe give a little extra love to the inner legs, pressing on the knees. You could gently rock side to side a little as you press into the inner thighs. Now, as you continue to press the hands into the inner thighs, and so you're rocking, get a lovely rocking sensation side to side happening. So you're lowering more through the right than the left, and allowing that beautiful opening to happen. Beautiful. Now come to stillness. Keep your legs as they are in your hands on your legs, and just inch your feet closer together. See if you can get the feet to touch. You'll likely notice some spaces relax. You could let your elbows relax down on the ground now, probably. And you can use your hands again to just press on the legs to get that rocking sensation from side to side. And keep the rocking sensation going. But what I was going to say is, it happens with beginners all the time, especially within the first 2 years of, practicing. And that is they want to get exactly where their teachers are. And that's awesome because that motivates all of us. However, there can sometimes be this tendency to, try to cram 10, 20 years of knowledge into a month, and it's not something that you can rush. It's just something that takes time and refining over time. Keep feeling the rocking sensation. Notice how your hips are opening more and more. And also, just with the whole practice thing, doing more isn't always better. That's why we do a lot of these therapeutic practices, because that's part of it too, that the beginner mindset of just thinking that we always have to do more. Oh, I need to be good at handstand, so I have to practice handstand for 3 hours a day, every day until I get it. But that's going to exhaust your body and exhaust your mind. And it's just not super efficient, especially if you're not considering how the rest of your body is integrated into doing a handstand. It's a project, yeah, but it's something that unfurls naturally as you refine the foundational aspects of the practice. Keep going. Notice how your legs are relaxing more and more and more. Just the rocking sensation in itself, and of course the time that we're doing it for, but it lets everything just kind of shimmy and settle into place. And nice and easy, just come to stillness. Let everything just be here. Let your arms relax overhead with your palms face up. Elbows are just bent and relaxed. Breathe in and out of the nose. Now, slide your hands underneath your skull so you can kind of cup your skull within your hands. You could even interlace your fingers. I like that position personally, but see what you like. Now use your hands to gently just draw your head away from your shoulders, just gently. And then slide your upper body over to the right. So you're doing a little hinge over to the right. Your breath just moves naturally in and out of the nose. Come back to center. And then go over to the left. Upper body hinges to the left. Just notice how things settle on this side. Usually one side's going to feel like easier or stronger than the other. Just see what's up today. Then we'll come back to center and over to the right. Now pause here and see if you can just get a teeny tiny rock between the sides. So really you're just thinking of moving the thighs to get a teeny tiny rocking sensation with the legs and hips. So just like we did before, but much smaller movement. And don't try to force big movements here. We just want to open up some spaces around the hips. And then come to stillness. Bring your upper body back to center. Pause for a moment. Then go to the left side. Make sure you feel comfortable here. And start the little rocking between the sides. So just visualize like your hands are pressing on your legs and mimic the movement that you did before, just to start to wake things up, because it can be a bit of like an awkward movement. So again, it's just small, but think of your hips rocking side to side, getting out any of that old gunk of the past, and also solidifying all of the foundations of things that you've learned throughout your life, all the wisdom. And let's come to stillness. Back to center with the upper body. Pause here. Just hang out in this position, letting any final bits release out of the hips. And though the rocking is a little tricky and limited when we're in the hinged position, it still can unlock quite a lot of stuff. And well, we're going to continue this journey of unlocking in the hips. So let's see what happens here. Start to reach your fingers just like forward, like as if you're going to reach toward the wall in front of you, and then slide your fingers up so you're in a diagonal. Now close your legs together. Feet are on the mat. Head and shoulders float up as the fingers just slide forward. Your low back comes to the mat. So we're doing just a little crunch. You just have your head and shoulders lifted. You don't have to go up any higher than that. Extend your right leg away from you, but on a diagonal. So same as your arms. Then bring the right foot down. And do the left side. And down. Back to the right. And down. Left, find the stillness except for the legs. Down, one more time, right? And down, and left, and down. Beautiful. Now, keep your head and shoulders up. Walk your feet like 2 to 3 inches forward. Now reach your fingers to the wall in front of you and sit up. Great, we made it. So now you might need to scoot yourself back on your mat a little bit, but we're bringing the soles of the feet together and we're letting the knees open wide from here. So we'll visit just a bit of somatic rocking because we've been doing a bit of it anyway. So we'll do some sitting up now. So letting your legs stay relaxed, okay? So similar to what we've done before, but we're working even more relaxed legs. Let your arms reach forward and just rock back on the pelvis. So I'm not laying my sacrum down. It's just a little rock back and forward and back and forward and back and forward. So keep going here. So you notice though, it's not a huge movement. You don't have to go very far, and get to the place where you can just find like you're getting a little bounce as you rock back and as you rock forward. So you're almost bouncing forward and back, but it's subtle, right? And how can we tune in deeper? Well, a few things. Let's first, just for fun today, look at the feet. Think of the toe pads all touching each other. And notice when you do that, your abdominals just woke up a little bit more, and so did the inner line of your legs. So that's what we want to stay with, yeah? Keep that navel drawing inward. Keep your shoulders away from the ears. Your palms face one another, even slightly upward. And just let it happen. If you can, draw some awareness in through your pelvic floor. And that can also shift your ability to tune into that bounciness almost. And of course, you will start to feel a little bit of heat in the abdomen if you're doing it right, that is. But you'll start to feel some heat or some fatigue kind of everywhere, right? The arms might start to get a little tired. We're almost there. But your legs, I mean, especially at this point, we've been doing a lot of stuff. Lots of stuff for the root, right? So eventually we'll be flooding all of this through the rest of the body. Nice and easy. Come to stillness as you reach the hands forward. So just let your hands come down, maybe your elbows come down, and just let your head relax. So your heels are not right into your perineum. Your heels are actually a little further away from you. We didn't adjust, just let yourself relax here. Notice how much your hips have opened just in the last little bit of time. Can you slide your chest just a tiny bit further forward? Notice the spaciousness out of the lower back and out of the back of the hips as well. And then see if you can inch your hands just a little further forward, or your elbows if your elbows are on the ground. So as you are reaching your arms forward, we start to open space around the back of the hip sockets. Now you might feel this in your hip flexors as well, but just notice the shifts. You might also feel this in your lower back. Beautiful. Let's come all the way up. Isn't that great? Bring the knees together. Give them a little shake. Okay, so from here, let's nice and easy just shift into a tabletop pose so that we can adjust into a dragon's lunge with the right foot forward. Your left leg walks back, and we'll keep it low for right now. So both hands are inside the right foot, and your left knee walks back. And let's untuck the left toes. Pull your heart forward and notice how that allows your left hip to drop a bit more, and keep the right knee over the right ankle for today. As you continue with the sensation of your heart pulling forward, you may, and you could use a block here or two, lower your elbows down. So you might want some support. Again, use a little height with your blocks. Or maybe you discover you have a lot of space in your hips right now. That's very possible. Maybe you can push down through your big toe on the right foot and spread the other toes out a little bit. Remember, your breath is just nice and easy. You're not even trying to control it. You're just witnessing. Now from here, come up onto your hands. You could set your block aside. We'll pull the hips back in space as we lengthen the right leg. Keep the sole of the foot down to start as you pull the hips back. Then we'll shine the toes up to the ceiling, bringing the toes toward the face to flex the foot, lengthen through the hamstrings, lengthen through the back of the leg. Now we'll bend back forward into the right knee, let the hips drop. We're moving into a revolved side lunge, so lift your left knee. Right fingers sweep up and around and reach to the back of the mat as you pivot through your feet. So your right foot can walk down as much as you need. We just want to find that nice big opening here through the outer left hip. And if you like, you can use your right foot to just kind of rock your hips. And both your hands can be on the mat as well here. That makes it a little easier. I just like the transition with the movement of the hand, but you can always bring your right hand back on the mat and just work the hips a little here. Beautiful. Nice and easy. Come back to center. Back into your lunge, facing forward. And let's shift the hips back one more time, lengthening the right leg, toes shine up. And then optional to move into your split or Hanumanasana. Open through the chest. Keep your back toes tucked if you do go into your split. Keep your spine nice and long. Notice how happy your legs and hips feel, but also your spine. Isn't that amazing? Now we'll press into the palms to pull the hips back, front leg pulls back in. We bend back into knee to find lunge and table. Left foot comes forward. And we walk the right knee back. Hands are down inside the left foot. We're in our dragon's lunge with the left toes untucked. And we hang out here. And remember, we're staying nice and low, but you may eventually want to use the blocks when we get there. But let's work that idea of the chest pulling forward and notice how that allows the hips to move down. Feel the front of the right hip get so beautifully relaxed. And as you're ready, elbows can come down onto the mat. Feel your chest continue to move forward. And again, you can have your elbows on your block or blocks, whatever you need.
Release any tension in the jaw. Keep the action of your chest pulling forward. Big toe pushes down on the left foot. Maybe spread those toes. Feel some opening behind the back of the left knee. Nice and easy. From here, come up onto your hands. Pull the hips back. Keep the sole of the left foot down to start. Draw your belly in. Then we'll shine the left toes to the ceiling as we flare them back to the face, extending length through the back of the left leg. Still find the sense of your heart pulling forward. Now let's come back into a lunge. Beautiful. Tuck the back toes so we can shift into our revolved side lunge. So as left hand reaches forward, right knee lifts and pivot through the feet. You can walk the left foot down as much as you need so that you can open up to face the left. You can bring your left hand forward. You can just simply pivot your legs without reaching back. Either way, you get some super fantastic opening for the outer right hip, because we get to be a little bit deeper here than we usually visit in class, or flow class, I should say. So now, if you like, you can just kind of rock forward and back using the left leg to guide you. And nothing extreme. We're talking keep it therapeutic, yeah? The spaces open up when they're ready to, not when you force them to, or when you want them to, right? It's when your body knows it's okay. And that's far beyond the intellect of the ego. So let's come back to stillness and come back to lunge, dragon's lunge. Right knee is back. And then hips pull back, left leg lengthens. And we have option to stay here or to lengthen left leg fully forward in your split pose, or dragon split as they call it in yin yoga. Spread your toes on the left foot. Nice open heart. Notice differences between the sides. This side's definitely tighter for me. And nice and easy, hips pull back to release from where you've gone. Come into lunge, come into table. Sit down onto your shins. Rotate out the wrists. You could interlace the fingers. Just make figure eights with your hands. Try to glue the forearms together. And just shake it out a little bit as you release the hands. Fabulous. All right. So now let's activate the spaces all in the face, in the throat, in the chest, and start to really bring some of this beautiful chi that we've been cultivating in the body, or prana, start to bring it up from the root. So make sure that your hips can sit in between your heels. So just wiggle your heels open. You can sit on your blanket, you can sit on your bolster, you can sit on a block if you need. Be comfortable here because it's going to get more uncomfortable. So now once you are set up, let your hands come down and just kind of stick your bum back. I like to wiggle it a little bit just so I can really feel that sensation of my bum reaching back, and notice what's happening with my heart. It starts reaching forward. So that's the action we want to start tuning into. So push the bum back and then stop wiggling it and just push it straight back and pull your heart forward. Now bring your hands behind your back and interlace your fingers. Cross one thumb over the other. Left over right for women, right over left for men. Elbows draw together. Keep pulling your chest forward. Then pull your knuckles away from your hips into the wall behind you. You can choose slow, deep breathing here, or breath of fire in and out of the nose. Focus on the wall in front of you. Continue to breathe. Pump your belly. Active exhales, passive inhales. Reach the arms. Squeeze your hands together. Breathe in, hold, release. Sit all the way up. Excellent. Bring the hands forward and down, your forearms forward and down. You're facing the wall. Tuck the toes, lift up, dolphin pose. Keep your head away from the mat. Keep your shoulders away from the floor. Breathe in. And lower the knees down, breathe out. Sit back up onto your shins. Inhale and exhale here. Interlace the fingers in front of you. Cross one thumb over the other. Again, same thing, left on top for women, right on top for men. This is active inhales and active exhales. So we inhale, hands up, exhale, hands down. Your arms are locked and strong. Begin. So keep going with your breath. This is stimulating the whole respiratory system, but also we get into the endocrine system, the thymus gland, the thyroid gland as well. So working these spaces, stay mindful with your breath, get all the gunk moving. This is great for the lymphatic system as well, getting that lymph moving in the body, which is so crucial for our wellness. Just look at one point straight ahead of you. Stay focused. Beautiful. Inhale, hold, exhale, release. Let the hands come down. Breathe in and out. Walk your hands forward. You can shift into your dolphin pose or come up into your forearm balance. Your choice. See what feels best for you, but get the hips up. You've got a wall, so you could use your wall. It can be really relaxing, even if you don't technically need it. Practice with it. Breathe in, breathe out. Nice and easy, coming all the way down from where you've gone. Come back to seated on the shins. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay, so one more. Active inhales, active exhales. Inhale, fingers reach out and up, and the arms are long and strong. Exhale, elbows come in. Yeah, and you can make fists. Inhale, open it up. Exhale, make fists and bring it in. Yeah, begin. So this is still great for the respiratory system, of course, and we do work more toward the lymph node areas. So it's really releasing any of that old gunk. You might find that sensation of tension in the shoulders or the traps or the neck. Just let it build. That's why we're doing this, is to bring it to the surface. Beautiful. Inhale. Exhale, just let your hands come down. Your choice, dolphin pose or forearm balance. Enter in, find the space that feels best for your body here and now. Coming all the way down from where you've gone, take your time. Come down onto your belly. Stack your hands, open your elbows, rest on a cheek or the side of your head. Breathe in and out of the nose. Rest on the opposite cheek. Look the other way. Fabulous. Let's bring the upper body up just enough so you can grab your bolster. We'll bring the bolster over to the right side of our mat. And we're still facing down, belly still down. We'll bring the right knee and lower leg onto the bolster as we hang out in Sphinx pose. So elbows are under the shoulders, chest is facing forward, and our right leg is rested on the bolster. Let's look over to the right knee and bring the right foot to face the ceiling-ish, and then bring it down, and up, and down. 3 more. Beautiful. Feel all that lovely opening in the low back. Right foot comes down. Keep looking over your right shoulder and bend your left knee so you see that foot over your right shoulder. Then tick-tock the left foot side to side. And see if you can watch the foot just with your eyes as you look over the right shoulder. Fabulous. Come back to stillness. Let your left leg come down. Look back forward and let your chest come down. So you could stack your hands. You could look to the right or the left, whatever is more comfortable for you. Breath is in and out of the nose. Couple more breaths here. Notice how relaxed your hips are. Now we'll come back up onto the elbows so that we can start to slide our left leg and over to the right and get onto the outer left hip.
Left hand reaches to the right and right hand reaches back over now to the right, so you can land in a big twist with your right knee on the bolster. It all sounds so much more complicated than it is. You could slide your right knee up the bolster a little more if you like. And nice and easy, we'll release the right leg so the foot can come down and just pick up your bolster and bring it over to now your right side. Then turn onto your right side, bring your left leg on the bolster and adjust into your Sphinx. Welcome back to the other side. So just let everything chill out. Your shoulders and your elbows are aligned, your chest is open. Your right quadricep faces downward. Let's look over the left shoulder and bring the left foot up and down and up and down. 3 more times. Notice the response through the whole body here. And let the left foot come down. Still looking over the left shoulder, bend your right knee so the sole faces the ceiling, sole of the foot. Then tick-tock side to side and just observe the movement there. This side feels tighter than the other side, but at the same time, I don't know. So interesting. So many places to observe. How does your body respond? And nice and easy, come back to center, release the leg down, face back forward. We move into our twist. So let's just reach the right arm over to the left, scoot yourself over until you can turn onto your back. Left leg is on the bolster. And you can draw the knee up a little higher if you like to, a bit closer toward your right elbow. Breathe in and out of the nose. And release to come fully onto your back. You can just set the bolster aside. Shoulder blades are flat, hips are flat. We'll do one more lovely twist to get out any final gunk. Right thigh crosses over the left, hips slide to the right, pull your knees into your chest and over and down to the left toward your left elbow. So sneak those knees up and let them soften down. Try to keep your right shoulder to the ground. It'll help you if you push into your left arm to help you get the right shoulder down. We won't be here for too long, but long enough to twist out any final gunk. You could look to the right if that feels good. And we'll look back to center. Gently guide your knees back. Undo the legs, neutral hips, neutral shoulder blades, left thigh up and over the right. Shimmy the hips to the left, pull knees to chest, over and down to the right. Try to get the knees close toward the right elbow as best as you can. That arm can help you keep the legs down, of course. You can also actively push down into your right arm to help the left side come down. Breathe. Remember, we don't get to force our body into stuff. The body will relax it out as it's ready. And take your time. Come all the way back to center. Undo through the legs. Draw your belly in. Neutral hips, neutral shoulders. Knees stack over the hips, hands onto the kneecaps. Feet are away from the floor, big toes touch. Draw circles in one direction. Try to feel this rotation around the entire back side of your hips. So as if you're getting your whole sacral bone here. Really do your best to smooth it out. Then go the other way, same thing. Just smooth it out. Make sure there's release where there needs to be and no hidden stuff. Let all those crunchy bits release. And then we'll come into stillness. Let the soles of the feet come down. Lengthen your legs down one at a time. Shoulder blades are flat. Maybe you inch your skull away from your shoulders. Chin slightly into the chest. Arms relax out to the sides as we settle into Shavasana, closing the eyes. Sifting through the spaces of the mind, noticing where we may let the ego take over with when it comes to our own progress or quote unquote success in our yoga practice or whatever it may be. But also recognize how far you've come on your journey and how much you've learned. We all wish we could have started things earlier, but that's not how life was laid out this time around. So dive into that gratitude for finding the practice when you did, for all of the hours that you've put in so far, and all of the rewards and benefits you have felt from your efforts. Can you settle into that space with softness around your heart, around your mind, around your whole body? Find that sense of complete loving acceptance of what this moment offers. Feel your body soften and settle. Feel your body relaxing onto your yoga mat. Feel your body relaxing in space. Notice the contrast of being completely whole and simultaneously completely nothing. Notice how one can't exist without the other. And the space between the two is lilu, or play. So learn to play, learn to dance between the contrast life offers. Let's inhale to reach nice and long through the body. And exhale to release. Drag the heels along the mat, knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug and a little rock side to side. Let's roll over to one side, pressing up into a seat that feels comfortable for you today. Notice all the spaces and places that you brought a little bit more freedom into. And let's bring palms to Anjali Mudra in front of the heart. We'll close our practice today with the chant of Sat Nam, which translates to true you. Exhaling everything. Full breath in. Sat Nam. And thank you all for our practice today. Namaste. So much love. Thank you for being here. Please let me know how it went for you in the comments. And yeah, we'll see you again soon. Much love, everyone. Bye.